Jaheim Bell, a deep dynasty stash. We're talking about that in today's video. As always, like and subscribe to the channel. We put out content all year long. Join our Discord. Link is in the description on how to do that. Today we are talking about tight end, I guess you can call him, Jaheim Bell, rookie tight end for the New England Patriots. And I say tight end question mark right on my face or whatever because he's kind of a tweener, which is maybe part of the reason why he fell all the way to the seventh round to the Patriots. I know going into the 2023 season, people were a little excited about him. Like he was on, the top 5 tight ends or top 10 tight end lists. You see, obviously, Brock Bowers, Ben Sinnott. Jaheim Bell was on a lot of people's lists because of his versatility. We'll get into it a little bit. If you guys are new to the channel, I've made a lot of these deep dynasty stash videos, even, dynasty rookie profiles where I look into the raw numbers, the film, and the analytical numbers and just try to find, players that are going to be worth stashing potentially on your dynasty rosters. Jaheim Bell, 6'3", 239. So you see why he's a tweener. He's not quite, he's a little bit too heavy to be a wide receiver. Not many wide receivers are 240. But not quite a tight end size. There are tight ends that are 240, but they're a little bit bigger. Their frame is a little bit bigger, and Jaheim Bell is just not one of them. You see his numbers from 2023. Solid numbers for a tight end, 39 catches, 503 yards, 2 touchdowns. Especially considering they had a couple guys on that team, Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson, who were both drafted and stuff like that. So I believe he was third on the team in receiving yards. Yes, he was third on the team in receiving yards. Lacked in the touchdown area, though. You see his combine numbers, and because he is a bit smaller, he does have some solid combine numbers. We talked about in my last video that you guys should check out. Theo Johnson was like an athletic freak at the tight end position. He ran like a 4.57 at weighing 260, and it just shows you just how crazy that is to run a 4.57 being 260. And look at Jaheim Bell, runs a 4.61, which is really good for a tight end, but he's 20-30 pounds lighter, right? For tight ends though, that's good. That's in the 88th percentile. His 10-yard split at 1.58, which is how fast you are within the first 10 yards, is also really good at 1.58 in the 86th percentile. And again, this is a little bit more. This is a number that should be more valued and starting to become more valued because it shows how fast you are. It shows your burst off the line of scrimmage, how fast you are within the first 10 yards. And most people are running 10 yards straight rather than 40 yards straight. We see his vertical number at 35. Again, really good. Above average. Well above average in the 72nd percentile. His broad jump is amazing, 124 inches. That's in the 91st percentile. So he's up there with elite numbers for tight ends, except for the height and the weight and the wingspan and things like that, right? And the hand size. But all the other stuff, which you would expect from a lighter tight end, is elite. We see some of his numbers here. Yards per route run. We're going to look at the production numbers here. Yeah, his pure production numbers. He's at a 14% career dominator percentage, which again, if you're new to the channel, what dominator percentage is for tight ends and wide receivers is what percentage of your team's receiving or passing offense are you accounting for. So he played 4 years at college. We threw his first year out, which was 2020 COVID year, and he only had 1 catch. So we didn't count the number. This is from 2021 to 2023. He played 2 years at South Carolina and then last year at Florida State. And so basically over those last 3 years in college, he accounted for 14% of his team's passing offense, which for a tight end is actually solid. We want to see it at 15% ideally or higher, but 14%, you're not that far off, right? And then he does have a single season high of 21%. Which is really, really good numbers for a tight end. Very good numbers. He kind of had a weird career. He has a breakout age of 20, which is good to see. He did break out at a relatively young age, especially considering his first year was a wash. His 2021 season was really good. His 2021 season with South Carolina was really, really good. That's when he put up the 21% of his team's offense. He had 30 catches, 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. And then for whatever reason, you would expect, considering that was kind of your first year, really, of getting significant playing time, they didn't really use him in 2022. He played 12 games, 25 catches, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, they were kind of using him a little bit more as a hybrid player because in 2022, he had 73 carries. 73 carries for only 260 yards, but that just shows you they were using him more as kind of like an H-back rather than a traditional tight end, which kind of leads to, the numbers dropping of his receiving total. So, but it does lend to his versatility. Like, he can potentially just be a weapon. Like, what if he's just like Taysom Hill without the passing ability, essentially, right? Like, what if that's what he is? And I think the NFL is kind of heading into a little bit more like, hey, we're heading into a versatile type of NFL a little bit more, like using players across positions that we don't traditionally see them. So can Jaheim Bell just kind of be like that weapon for them? We'll see. It might lend to him not being productive for fantasy in terms of pure tight end numbers, but we'll see. PFF grade of 88.8 is really, really good. We look at the analytical numbers. Yards per route run at 2.31 is really good. I talked about it in the last video for tight ends. We want to see this at like 1.5 at the worst. Anything above 2 is like really damn good. And this is, I believe, for his career. I took this number from, just double checking. Yeah, I took this for his career. Last year, he was at 1.97, which was 13th best in the entire nation for tight ends. But 2.31 for his career is really good. Just giving you for reference, Brock Bowers last year, 2.65. Ben Sinnott last year, 2.02, right? Guys like that are going high. He has a really good yards per route run number, and he's much better in zone than man, which is very, very important in the NFL, especially for a tight end, because, like I always say, the NFL is playing 60 to 70% zone coverage. His drop percentage, or ADOT at 6.9, is a little low for a tight end, but even for a tight end, it's a little low. But maybe it's just the nature of the offense. Drop percentage at 6.9% as well is very, very good. We don't want to see your tight ends dropping passes, especially because you have to be sure-handed. Yards after catch per reception at 9.2. This definitely jumps off the screen when you're watching him play, watching his film. His yak ability is crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. So that's awesome to see. That yak ability. His contested catch percentage as well, 54.5%. Anything above 50% is really good, especially for tight ends. And then his contested target percentage, I talked about this in all these videos. It's a number I'm paying attention more. What percentage of your targets are contested? And I think when you look at that number over the course of an entire career, it lends to how good maybe the receiver is, or tight end, as a route runner. If you're a really good route runner, you're going to juke out your defender, you're going to find the hole in the zone, and you're going to have no one around you. So if this number's below 15%, it's really good. 9% is elite. Absolutely elite. So that is a very intriguing number. His receiving ability is very, very good. The question is, where is he going to play? Can he play receiver? Can he learn how to block? At least be a willing blocker and play tight end? I just don't know. You see from the stats here, he was essentially playing as a receiver as much as he was an inline tight end, right? 212 snaps as an inline tight end. We're talking about over 200 snaps, either out wide or in the slot, 19 in the backfield. So the question with Jaheim Bell is just, does he have a position? Right? Because he struggles as a blocker, and you would expect that considering he's only 240 pounds and 6'3". He's just a big receiver, right? He needs to be more physical. He needs to, be a better blocker. His open field speed is really, really good. He can outrun linebackers and safeties. He's kind of a matchup nightmare if you can get him on a linebacker or even a safety. He has great agility. His yak threat is one of the best in the entire nation. He can go up and get the ball, right? He can adjust those difficult catches. It's just the size. He doesn't have the build for the tight end, right? And it's just where is he going to play? Where is he going to play? I just don't know where he's going to fit in. Now, I love the versatility. I love versatile players. I'm a sucker for versatile players. Let me clean that off a little bit. I'm a big sucker for versatile players, guys who can line up in the backfield, get carries, play all over the field, and he could potentially be that. It's just I don't know what New England's plan is for him. He was a 7th-round pick, so the chances of him hitting are very, very low already. He's going to have to play on special teams if he's going to make the team. If he can't play special teams, he's going to get cut. He's not going to make the team. So hopefully he can play special teams. I think he can. And that's where he can kind of, solidify himself on the roster. And then you just kind of look at the Patriots depth chart, at the tight end position. You have Hunter Henry there, who's going to be there. But then you have older guys like Austin Hooper and, Mitchell Wilcox and stuff like that. Like, there is room for him to kind of move up the depth chart. Excuse me. I just don't think it's going to be happening year one. This may be a 2-year stash hold. So if you have deep rosters, I don't mind it, as I have something caught in my throat. But, I'm not going to waste a roster spot on him for 2 years if I don't have a deep roster. I generally don't do that with tight ends in general. I hold running backs or backup quarterbacks. But if you have deeper rosters, you play in these like 30 rosters or more teams. Like, he's a guy that's intriguing just because his receiving ability is there. And for fantasy football, that's kind of what we care about the most. So there you have it, guys. Jaheim Bell, deep dynasty stash. Again, you play in a deep league? Sure. You're playing a 25 roster team, even 28, probably not. When you start getting to 30 or more, rostering 30 or more, then I can see you stashing him. So appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe as always. We'll have one more of these, I believe, before we finish him up for the off season. Catch you guys on the next video.